Oh shit, I did the wrong one. Wait, hold up. Repeat that. Go back. Jolie on solidarity.
Look, you're the assholes for letting him get away with it. No. You're the asshole for letting him get away with it. Excuse me? Who the fuck are you? You're all assholes. Because when that son of a bitch puts his hands on her, you should tell yourself he's putting his hands all over you. Or you. Because he sure as hell would if he could. So what are we supposed to do? Make sure he never does it again. How? We stick together. So are we together? Good. Excuse me? Who the fuck are you? So what are we supposed to do? So what are we supposed to do? So what are we supposed to do? Who the fuck are you? 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 We stick together.
That is the famous philosopher Angelina Jolie. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm stating her feminist theory of solidarity under the patriarchy and oppression. From, what is that, from Foxfire, from some fucking movie? I don't even know. That's why I have female friends, because none of that shit's mine. I had a friend of mine, high school, very into Angelina Jolie during her very sexy days when she was all naked and shit. This girl had girlfriends. She took a girl to the prom. The girl was a cutter. They were both. And then she was a cutter later on, being very emo, rejecting their Christian upbringing through antagonizing their parents and themselves. Then you learn to not be self-destructive. All that behavior. It's identity through opposition is a bitch because it's exhausting. It's much easier and more natural just to be an expression of yourself. But when you're disempowered in life, a lot of that cutting and self-harm and other stuff, because you don't have power or agency in your own life, but you have power and agency over your own body. And so as a protest or a way to react against the lack of power in your life, then you start taking it out on your body, from what I can see. I think the psychological literature backs me up, but most of my knowledge is experiential. And then I see if maybe it's a blind spot of projection. And so if the science is against what I say completely, with multiple objective sources, then yeah, I'm going to check my blind spots. But I think that's one where I'm in alignment. All I have to do is be more than 50% right. That's why, more than 50% right means that I correct towards the truth. It just, if I'm only 51% right, it's going to be a long correction. Slow, long correction. Slong. Slong should be a word. Slow and long. But it sounds too much like schlong, right? So, see, Angelina Jolie. What's up with that girl? And Brad Pitt. Fucking feminism didn't help your failed marriage, eh? That's a mean thing to say. I don't believe in that, though. I believe in just fucking spouting off at the mouth, but there's no such thing as a failed marriage. Who says that emotions have to last forever? It's emotions. And you can grow closer, you could grow more apart. Movie stars have a lot of money and a lot of obligations. There's a lot of things tearing at relationships with movie stars. To act like their relationship struggles are personal, that's not true. It's most likely professional stresses. It's like two CEOs dating. Each movie star is bringing in millions of dollars. Each movie star is basically a CEO of their own brand. And then they adopted and had all those kids. There's a lot of complications that went into that. That's why you respect people like LeBron James and other people who can actually keep a family together. Or when Kobe's family was falling apart and Drake took a shot at his wife, Kobe's like, nah, dude. takes care of the family so I could just concentrate on basketball. It's not even like that. And he reconciled with his wife. So that shit's hard. I was just fucking around. But no, obviously I respect Angelina Jolie, or else I wouldn't have used her words. I respect Brad Pitt too. I think he's a sincere dude. Someone tried to do a fast one on him at the red carpet, him and Will Smith, and they both like hit the guy back, not hard, but just like that physical pushing your energy out. Some people would be too polite for that, but it's like you need a certain peace of mind to understand your options and actually implement them. You don't want to be run over by life, so to push your energy out, and sometimes it has to be a physical push, an actual push. Females that way too. The females in my life, you talk about when people get too close to your space or your energy, sometimes it has to be a physical push. It has to be, no, this is my bubble. People can do a lot of damage when they get close. In grabbing distance, if you don't feel comfortable, that is the huge red flag. That should trigger a desire to create some space. That's a very dangerous thing, to allow people who have ill intent within hand's distance of you. So I don't know, that's even fucking crazy, to be a celebrity where everyone knows you, and then people fucking, you can't tell enemy from friend. You have a circle, and you have to fucking keep your circle tight, I guess, and then everyone else outside of that, you chill. And so if you become a celebrity and you are addicted to esteem from strangers, it's going to be very hard to tell friend from enemy, because you're addicted to strangers, and not all strangers have the best intentions for you. Strangers are, stranger danger. I believe in the brotherhood of man and the good of man, but it would be arrogant to think that you can see through the intents of 8 billion people. It's overwhelming data. So it's not that all people are bad. It's the zombie theory, that the one bad one can do a lot of harm. So it's safer to slow roll into getting to know people. I've always believed. I believe most people are good. And I believe if left to our own devices, I agree with a lot of this anarchist theory. The natural expression of human society is best left unchecked by bureaucracy, and then we'll evolve some really cool, healthy patterns. The technology shows that. Most of the technology that underpins the internet is open source. What does that do but prove anarchist theory? Anarchist theory is an open source theory. Open systems. Wikipedia couldn't work under the selfish man theory, that we all are just motivated by self-interest. We haven't really talked about that. That modern economic theory has pretty much been rent asunder by technological theory of the 21st century. The theory of the internet, the architecture of the internet, does not abide by dog-eat-dog Darwinian competition. But luckily there's people in history who have countered that with, like, Jolie, Kropotkin. We need one. I was thinking about that. We need one for the 21st century. We need, maybe that's up to me, to write the mutual aid of the 21st century. I have to read a lot more books, though. But I'm interested in that. I was talking to this girl, one of our last boarders at King's Quarters before we got shut down. I wonder if I'll ever get that apartment back. I feel like it's my apartment. King's Quarters can only be resided in by a king, right? But we'll see. Shaz needs to get his throne back. That would be a good. I think I still entitled to that apartment. I have my arguments. That's another legal one. I have a legal battle with YouTube, Airbnb. I was trying to write them down. King with the landlord. I have my running for president is just one of the fucking crazy shit I want to do. Reddit. I have a list. Shaz has a list. Not like a Unabomber type list, like a goals, just goals of, it's good to have, I don't want to say enemies, not even like a Nixon list. It's because there's no animosity. If you have the moral high ground, if you have the moral high ground, you should just have compassion for those who transgress against you. I just love competition, and I would love to compete in certain spheres, and we will see if I put myself in a position to do that. Yeah, I got a lot of ego today, a lot of let's get up and go, because I have this work in front of me, and I have a clear path towards the end as of now. So I've done this a couple times, worked on projects. A couple of them I finished, so I've proven I can finish projects. We'll see if I finish this one. Shaz, more assertive language. You will finish it. But we will see how fast you finish it. It's really the question. We will see if I hit my goal of December 22nd. I just paid $100. I paid $100 for my internet today to keep it on. So that way I can keep it on through January and hopefully the money comes in. Hopefully. Shaz, I will slap you every time. I don't know. I'm being silly. I hurt. The beard helps though. I should fuck with some badass bitches right now because the beard really cushions the slaps. Have I ever been slapped? I've been slapped. Addie threw a fucking bong at me once. A little bubbler. I really pissed her off. Back when we were living together. Never fucking ever had sex. Sexual tension, that's what's taught me. You really had to burst that bubble. Either we're fucking, we're not fucking. Either it's on the table or it's not. But this whole like, will they, won't they, is cool for a sitcom, but in real life that shit drives you crazy. So me and Addie had that for years. And only like these last couple years have we actually said, you know, it's a good friendship. But I've seen her fucking, not naked, but yeah, we've seen each other. When they lived with me, though, when the girls lived with me, I was a fucking, I don't really have any shame. So I walk around, not rude, but you know, we had a shower in the kitchen. You know, that's another one. We'll see if I could do a video without saying you know. But yeah, we had a shower in the kitchen. It was pretty open. Yeah, Addie, I'm living with her, fucking 2006, or this is 2010, so a couple years before this. She's already fucking spun off in her fucking shit. I'm starting to find needles and shit everywhere. I'm like, fuck, this is bad news. My dad just had a big seizure, ended up in the hospital. I feel like I should go back with my folks. I worry about that sometimes. Like me, my time here with them right now, it's good to spend time with them. Tomorrow's not promised today. Epileptics aren't promised to die of old age. Sometimes a big grandma will take them out. It's just how it is. So, he had one, put him in the hospital, so I was like, fuck, I should go home, be with my folks. So I moved my shit out of the room, but I didn't tell her. We were arguing, so I was just locked up in my room a lot. So I moved it all, we were a ground floor apartment, I moved it out the window, and I parked my car right behind the window on the back. Moved it all out the window, put it in my car. So I knew that next time we had a conversation, it was going to be a fight. Sure enough, she picked the fight, trying to get more money from me or some shit. And I was like, shut the fuck up. I just started shutting her down. By then I was starting to say, like, this is what I could give you, this is what I can't give you, but no more of this manipulation. Like, just you, that's what it is. It's like, I'm not chasing you into the fucking rabbit hole of your lies. I'm setting boundaries. That's anyone I've talked to about addiction who's dealt with addiction themselves. Firm boundaries. This is the love I can give you within this sphere. Outside of that sphere, you're on your own. If you want to get better, it's your choice. If you need comfort or help, or I'll always help you. No, I'll always love you and always comfort you. But if you need help, it's within these restrictions. If I don't see that you're trying to get better, I can't help you. And so I have one of those firm conversations where they try to bullshit. I'm like, whatever, I'm not hearing it. Fucking. And she was like, she got mad. And I was like, dude, just fucking, this isn't, we know each other too good for this to be happening. I'm not one of your boys. I like seeing how she was running her boyfriend and shit, starting to get wise to those female games. Like, nah, dude, that's not. And then I caught her in the light this year that way. She tried to give me some emotional bullshit. I was like, dude, that's not, I hope you outgrow that. But it's a tool that hopefully she finds, as she empowers herself in life, she finds it's not needed to try to emotionally manipulate other people. But I'm pretty good at avoiding that after dealing with very strong emotional presences in life. So she goes to the, what did I say? When you disarm someone with logic, they come at you with violence or with emotions. She tried the emotions, and I was just fucking stone cold. And then she's like, oh, okay, you're fucking, your shit's still here. You really think you could fucking be cool as a cucumber? She runs into the room. Room's empty. I hadn't told her I was moving out yet. So she burst into the room to fuck up my shit like a little kid. And I already knew, fucking, one chest move ahead, bitch. I was like, I already moved out. I moved out to the window. You didn't even see me. So what are you going to do now? And she looked at me and her face is like so pissed. The rage, this is the rage that you'll only see in someone's face when you've outthought their aggression. And like basically if someone is so mad but there's no way to take it out, like, oh, I could hit you but I can't hit you. I felt that from a man before too. That's what that guy in the bar that one night. It's like, I could punch you in the face right now. He really wanted to punch me in the face because he really had nothing else to say. A stranger just summed up his fucking male angst, and he's in advertising. His words are supposed to be his venue. So she looked at me. She was like, she grabbed the nearest thing, fucking threw it at me, and I have the bad habit of fucking knowing when I've won. I'm like, I ducked, and I was like, dude, you better not fucking go into baseball because you have a terrible arm. Something cheesy, but somewhat relevant. It wasn't the best comeback, but it was enough to like let her know. You didn't shake me with that shit either. It's like when I took her needle once, and I'm fucking, yeah, that was that day, and I'm walking out, and then she's like, I was like, I said something like, I found a needle in the bathroom. Fuck this. I'm not living in a junkie house, dude. That was I hadn't learned to be unconditionally loving. I was still very judgmental. I apologized to her afterwards that like a lot of the ways I approached you in the height of your addiction were not healthy. So you don't antagonize addicts. If you have the high ground, you should have compassion. But I was projecting. This girl wouldn't be with me, and felt like she deserved my animosity. But she was a victim of her own addiction. And so, but you only get that peace after you're well laid, I guess. But that's why if you're not emotionally stable enough to deal with an addict healthily, you probably just shouldn't interact with them. Because you interacting with them without emotional stability is now two emotionally unstable people interacting. You don't have control over your emotions because you're too fucking horny and stupid, and they don't have control over their emotions because obviously there's an addiction. There's a huge monkey on their back that's influencing all of their decisions. No addict is as selfish as they appear in the throes of addiction. So that's why I don't blame Hunter S. Thompson so much about like how he comes off in history. It's like he had a speed addiction and then cocaine addiction for most of his life. It's very hard to have your natural expression of your personality show through that. The fact that me and Addie stayed friends through the height of her addiction shows how good of a person she is. I told her this year, I was like, I've always seen that in you. I always knew you were like one of the best people I ever knew because like at your worst, you were still a very good person. At her worst, she was still solid to people. She just had and she told me, she was like, I fucking felt so terrible all the time. Because after I did heroin, I was like, is this how it feels? Because I understand that shit that's just tasty. She was like, yeah, but I was like, is that how you were like, that was like, have you felt that since, but not on heroin? Have you felt that type of happiness? She was like, she will, I'm sure. She said no, but it takes a while for your brain the brain chemistry. I had a friend who was doing cocaine a lot for a couple of years, and she was really fucking mood swingy. And I was like, give it a year, dude. Your brain chemistry has to reset. These shit, like you've been pushing your happiness button constantly. You need to fucking get your natural rhythms. We all have highs and lows, and some of us who are more manic than others will have really high highs. Like today, I feel really up, but then when I'm down, I have to be like, it's just a valley. Some of my best thoughts come after my valleys, and that's what gets me through my valleys. Sometimes I can't even sleep. And then people want to take sleeping pills and other shit. It's like Robert Lowell went in an insane asylum, but he said darkness honestly lived through is a place of wonder and life. Honestly lived through. Numb yourself before you commit self-harm, of course, or take your medication. You can't make decisions for other people's mental health, but in my experience, if you honestly live through your darkness, there are some really nice rewards on the other side. And in the art I read too, is that it's a part of the mental processing. There's something going on in the subconscious that once that shit sorts out, there's this like clarity. It's like that's what Zen Buddhism is, looking at your emotions like weather in the sky. Yeah, it looks all black, but is it all black, or is that just a crow in the sky? How big is a crow? How big is the sky? Are you really looking at the whole sky? And the crow's just a speck. Or are you right up in the fucking feathers of the crow and everything's all black? No sky is all black forever. The trees invite snow. And the snow can't prevent spring. There's a rhythm to everything in life. You never stay in the same mood forever. If you do, then that's a superpower. And now we should fucking have you teach other people. Because no one's learned to stay in the same mood forever. Everything in life is transient. Your body's transient, everything's transient. So that's a thing you think about happiness. At your highest highs, remember, happiness without context is indulgence. Now you're indulging in, I'm going to be up forever. My folks get like that. That's where I get it from. My mom's very manic. In a good way. Very emotionally charged people. But they just closed some good businesses month. And they're like, oh my gosh, we're making so much money. I'm like, yo, when I first came here in October, you were talking about how you wanted to quit insurance. It was sucking your soul. So just remember, this is a high, but there'll be a valley. And the wisdom comes in between. Don't let yourself get too high. Don't let yourself get too low. When you're low, sometimes you feel like it's out of your control. I can't help but feeling down. I feel that's when I pick up a guitar. That's when your artistic expression comes out to heal you. This is the best time to pick up a musical instrument. That's why I've cultivated drawing and writing. But music, at my lowest, music is really, because it doesn't pick me up because I don't want to be picked up. I want to be sincere. And some of those songs that I made were at my lowest. And they heal me now and they feel great. But at the time, it wasn't to heal. It was to capture that. To capture, like, what was it? And we take a long walk. That's Addie. On the ground, heaven never saved us. Next time around, maybe we can fly on our own. But for now, maybe we belong on the ground. She went to Catholic school. Religion didn't save her from her path. And you say you hate me. She said she hated me so many times. And I had to learn as a young man that the ones who say they hate you are the ones who love you. And then we kiss. We never kissed. Once, I stole one kiss from her once when she was 17. And you're saying maybe I would be missed. And you say I asked too many questions. Times like this. And you smoke your cigarette. I always hated that she smoked. I saw her smoke her first cigarette. She always said I talk too much. And them brothers laughing into his veins, and your mother's passing away. Too many kids, and you say you think of your father. Times like this, close your eyes, let it in. And we're meeting strangers all around town, and we're meeting danger, laughing it down, and you say you feel like forgetting. You're alive, and I'm letting you drive, following the vices of another person instead of being your own man, out of the insecurity of not wanting to be alone. I never got quite that far. I know people who have. And when you're asleep, you're the sweetest company. And when you are dry, you can cry, and all say is for me. And you say that you can't survive times like these on your feet. And we take a long walk on the ground. Heaven never saved us. Next time around, maybe we can fly on our own. But for now, maybe we belong on the ground. Every addict I've known is playing themselves. When it comes down to it, every addiction I've seen at the heart of it is insecurity, is a feeling of lack of worth. Because confident, capable people don't fall victim to predatory behavior. And an addiction is predatory. That's the definition of an addiction. Is a habit which starts preying on your life. You start showing negative signs. It's not an addiction. I guess there's a functional addict who dwells in the middle, but even then, in order to define addiction, you have to show the negative effects. There's like behavioral addiction. People who technically are addicted to alcohol, but they keep it within the happy hours after work. I know a lot of functional cocaine addicts too. In the Caribbean, it's everywhere. It's like fucking coffee down there. But I mean, in New York, I knew functional fucking cocaine addicts who were working in hedge funds. One of my clients told me that he did it, his bosses did it, everything. They couldn't complete the workload that was expected of them, 60, 80-hour work weeks without the help of cocaine. I was sad. I was like, it's no longer a recreational drug for you. It's a fucking, they took the fun out of cocaine. I was like, because fucking cocaine's a fun drug to do when you're partying. But like when it becomes a part of the health plan, it's no like you're at a party fucking or whatever, you're gonna let loose for like your once in a month, once in a blue moon party, and fucking someone offers you a line, you're like, no, I can't, reminds me of work. Wow, it took the fun out of fucking cocaine. Kids, do not do cocaine. Unless you know who you are. Then do whatever the fuck you want, because this is choose your own adventure in life. And then suffer the consequences. Don't say I didn't warn you, though. It's a hell of a drug. Many, the best and brightest among us have fallen victim to that drug. That's why I don't keep it on me. I dabble, but that's not something I would keep on my possession. Robin Williams was a genius of a man, huge heart, fucking amazing spirit, seems as insightful as a human being can be into human nature, and he fell for that. I look at the ones who went before, and I see Richard Pryor fell for that. Richard Pryor is, again, as insightful as you can be about human nature. But these were their blind spots, so you have to respect that. You have to respect. That's why I wouldn't really do heroin again. First of all, I got the young kid kind of looking up to me, and the fact that I can do it and put it down gives her strength, I think, to do it and put it down. That's what some of these guys who are role models do have the right idea, that a lot of people are looking at you, and you have to live a little bit cleaner of your life, cleaner of a life. The reason why I do them, though, is because I don't want to be superstitious about drugs, though. I don't think that helps anyone. They're just drugs. The human spirit is stronger than any drug. Otherwise, then people who are caught up, that's a terrible thing to say to them. Once you've done the drug, you're fucked. No. I do them. Anyone can do them. Sit me next to any addict, I'll do whatever drug they're doing. And then you'll see me continue on my life. And hopefully that shows you that it's in your mind. It's not the fucking drug. I don't know if I'd do speed. I guess if there was a speed addict who wanted to get clean, to give them context. But I know speed gives you so much fucking false confidence, that's not going to help them. I grew up with speed addicts, so that's the one where like it's so dirty that like I've tried to talk speed addicts out of their addiction plenty of times. I'm like fucking 20, 21, 22, 23. I've had them steal shit from me, this and that. I've had people I went to high school with from fucking 7th grade to 5 years of high school who did some weird shit. It degrades your brain. This other shit, there's recreational drugs, and then there's just fucking like brick dust you're putting into your fucking brain, cement, whatever the fuck they put in speed. There's like, why would you do crocodile? Why would you do fucking fentanyl? Some of that shit. No, let's keep it clean. Let's keep it clean and classy. Pure cut cocaine, heroin, weed, mushrooms. What else do you need in life? That should be on the bumper sticker for the presidential campaign. Pure cut cocaine, heroin, weed, mushrooms. What else do you need in your life? Yes, 2020. What the fuck video were we talking about today? Angelina Jolie. She was in the opium dens in New York. She fucking turned out okay. Somewhat. What fucked her up more? Opium or Billy Bob Thornton, right? That's what, when people give me shit about my drug use, it's like, the women I've been in are far more dangerous than the drugs that have been in me. Come on. Fucking relationships and heartbreak. Living through a heartbreak. My first time really being hard up about Addie, I sat in the room and just listened to music over and over and over. I would drive down the highway and just cry. Just randomly, you know that. You know. But this is a good you know. Because most people should know. When you're so heartbroken that you can just randomly burst out in tears. That's as low as it gets. Other than like self-harm and this and that. Which some of us had too big of an ego to leave this life in any other way than through trials and tribulations, right? I wouldn't. There's too many interesting ways to die, to do so at your own hands. But I would definitely, I was for a while, just think about her, just bawl, just driving down the highway. It's a sensitive dude. When you're sensitive, it's not like my heart's become more callous. My view of the world and love and the people in it has just become larger to include my suffering and my sadness. Now, like Dancer Girl, I have very similar, some of the shit that we've been through and stuff that, I guess I could talk about that. We went to this party. Yeah, I should talk about that because we're talking about Angelina Jolie. This is one that actually my sex talk fits. Talking about solidarity and females stick together. Me Too. But what is the other side of Me Too that they don't mention? This boss female energy climbing power hierarchies. If we do have a society, which I wouldn't call it patriarchy, I would say that the society doesn't have human values. We're trying to avoid playing the victim game, one victim against the other. We're trying to identify the overall system, higher up the stream of injustice towards the fountainhead, where we can identify the cause of all of these injustices. Racism, the misogyny, and the environmental destruction, all being causes stemming from objectification of women as objects, their nature as objects, Racism, how is that objectification? Well, you dehumanize the other because that rabid tribalism. So all of this, let's find the root cause of this. It's values. It's a values-based discussion now. Now it's not just a victim identity-based discussion. So, did I tell this story? Maybe I told this story. Addie's boyfriend had a party, and he's getting connected in New York. He has a Netflix thing that might come out. He might have a show or some sort of like fame or something going on. But will he? Maybe it was Netflix. I think it was Blockbuster. It was Blockbuster, direct-to-video. That's what it was. It was like VHS or Betamax or some shit like that. But he has a friend. I don't like his friend. This is me, values and character. This is last year as I'm doing my spirit walk before I lost my apartment. So maybe May. Lost my apartment in July. Been doing real estate 5-6 years. I think I have my feet under me as far as New York and the types of people who are in New York, which pretty much shows you the world because the most competitive, richest people, New York is a piggy bank of the world, like London, like Tokyo. You have international money coming in. Half of the purchases in New York are by international players. Cash only purchase in New York is now, it could be washing money, it could be just holding it. You had a lot of Chinese buyers who would just be like, within this 5-block radius, I want to put 10 million, find it. And they were buying stuff online. They're not going to live in this. A lot of these apartments go empty. Some of them are rented out. But it's more about just holding your money in a safe market. Real estate market in a top 10 international city is a safe piggy bank. And New York is one of the safest, if not the safest. New York and London, maybe. That's why real estate markets are so tight. We're competing against that, the people who are trying to live there. You don't solve that in a simple manner. You have to get back to the root of these problems, which is global finance and the global financial structure, which the people living in the cities are dealing with the consequences of that. If you don't have that bigger picture, then we're just fighting amongst the symptoms of a problem, not actually diagnosing the patient. Anyways, Eddie's boyfriend has a friend. He's having a birthday party at that friend's place. Friend's place has I say these penthouse apartments, just a high floor apartment. I say every high floor apartment is a penthouse apartment. So a penthouse apartment on Fifth Avenue, around Union Square, pretty hot neighborhood, pretty expensive neighborhood. Right around the corner from the new school. And so me and the dancer girl go over there, and we're being lovey-dovey. We had a good night. I don't know if we had sex right before we went there, but we were connecting. I think we did a little bit of mushrooms before we went, just a little pinch. I have my guitar. I brought some instruments. She's dancing. So we're walking from the village up Fifth Avenue. I'm playing my guitar, and she's dancing in front of me. Very New York type thing. I should relate another story. I went to there's this group of like underground parties you get on these email lists, and it's a pretty good one. It's one of the better ones in the city. I think the last one sucked, but the one before that was the best party I've ever been to in my life. And I don't go to many parties, I guess. I don't go to any festivals and shit like that. But having some money the last couple of years, I was trying to round out the Shaz experience of life. So I started getting to these events. I learned about them through a girl, see? Your blind spots, right? So I went to, I think it was OkCupid, like 4 or 5 years ago. And then this girl, she told me to meet her at this party. She gave me the info. I went. It was like a covert mansion shindig. You had to dress up. I barely got in because I put very little effort. It was like this plus a scarf and a fucking cap. And it was supposed to be a period piece from like the 1800s. And so I was like, I'm a newsie. It was barely made it. They looked at me. They're like, you're not. It was that type of place. It's like you really had to dress up. But whatever. I have a picture of it. I look cool. So the girl and I, we hooked up later on that night. We had a vibe. I remember leaving that party when fucking girls do that friend thing where a friend was like, are you sure you want to go home with this guy? Like looking at her in the eyes, like, are you drunk? Or like looking at me, are you going to fuck up my friend? And she was like, no, it's fine. I was like, yeah, fucking get out of our business, yo. Go home. Let me and your friend have some fun. And then we went back to my apartment. That was like my first encounter with like a girl aggressively wanting 69. Sometimes girls have certain positions in their mind. Or like as a dude, I just like having sex. I'm a little bit boring sometimes where like missionary's fine with me. I like the energy and the build up and the call and response. And then if we want to like grow from there, great. But I like vanilla with toppings. And then some people are like, we gotta fucking swirl it up from the beginning. So we start messing around and she's like, it's just what it is. It's like 69 unasked for. Feels like someone just stuck their ass in my face. It's like we're just doing a little shit and then all of a sudden, boom, I got someone's ass in my face, which is cool. So fucking, but it was just like my first encounter with that aggressive 69 fucking, like girls who like to be choked. They just grab your hand and put it on their neck. I was like, whoa, fucking, I don't know if I want to choke someone right now. No, I don't know. Anyway, she was really sweet. Her hair smelled like fire. I like that. I like smells. She had just had a campfire a couple days ago. We were very similar. We just, one of those like online encounters and then never see each other again. Not enough chemistry to keep in touch, but enough chemistry to have had a great night and a great little fucking back scratch session. Uh, and actually, that's how I got my girlfriend for a couple years. Not how, but the girl that I was seeing at the time was being a little distant from me because she also was seeing someone else, trying to figure out which one of these horses she wanted to put her money on. The guy was a Wall Street guy, pretty good money, ended up marrying his next girlfriend, so he was trying to lock that shit down. And then she was deciding between him and me. And I knew in my past, I'm like 32 now. So I'd learned a little bit more than Shaw than this time, which we're supposed to talk about this time of my life, 2010, but whatever. This is like 2013, 14. And so I knew a little bit more, that like a little bit more about my blind spots. I could be a little bit much emotionally. So when this girl started pulling back, I let her know I was interested, let her know the door is open. But the best thing you can do if you're trying to get someone's attention is to keep doing you. Because as soon as you stop doing you, now your light's dimming. Your little candle, your flame is going out. You have to, for the love of God, protect your swag. Protect that fucking feeling like whatever makes you feel like you're the man on the block, that you're fucking, whether it's going to the gym, your work, whatever. But once you, I read this online today, diversify the sources of your self-esteem. If it's just that person, you're fucked if they shut you off. And you don't know what's going on in their life. They might have 5 random things that they're actually, I've had this in my life. They're shutting them all off to get to you, but you need to give them time to sort out their life. So we had a really awesome run for a couple years. And there's a lot of stuff she taught me. She softened me up a lot. A lot of these women soften you up, take out. It's not like it's their job to do it, but just every relationship I have grows my heart a little bit. And but so I knew enough not to bug her too much. So I saw that it was like around Halloween, and she decided to go to a Halloween party with a fucking financial Wall Street dude. And I know how aggressive those dudes are. So I'm just like, this dude's going to fuck it up on his own. This is a fucking chess. It's not checkers. I'm going to play it cool. And I've been in Puerto Rico and other shit, and just experience after experience. It's like, I'm pretty sure I'm fucking going to be a cooler cucumber than this other dude. So I'm going to be fucking, I'm here if you need me. This other guy's going to pressure her into fucking or something. I know she likes me. She's just wondering if I'm the right choice instead of this other dude. Once you call, and if you don't call it, you have to have the self-esteem to be like, all right, then it's not meant to be. It's her loss, whatever. But in order to play that, I knew I had to get laid. I was like, I can't just sit at home. So that's when I do the online shit. Or even if it's just going out. We should have other sources of esteem. So I was like, fuck it, let's see what's up with this. Got this girl. She took me to this party. And then, and then I got laid that night. And I kind of like mourned like that girl who was with a Wall Street guy that night. I was like, you know what, this might be the end, because I might meet someone that I actually have a vibe with. Like, that's what you have to be okay with. You can't go out thinking, all right, but this is just to make this girl jealous. You actually have to sincerely put yourself in anything you're doing. So I was like, fuck, well, I might meet someone new. So like, this might actually be the closing of that door. But let it be. Whatever is to be, to be. I can just keep living my life, but I have to be me. So I went out, had a good time. We had a good connection. It wasn't enough to make me not think about the other girl. So objectively, the other girl is still like, but this was enough to be like, yeah, but Shaz, you still got it. You still got it. And I had a waterbed at the time. Bring people home to my fucking apartment was hilarious, because I'd be like, dude, you have to, it's such a cheesy, but like, dude, you have to check out my waterbed. And you jump on it and it's like, whoa. It's fun. It was stupid. Yeah, my girlfriend hated it. She was like, this is so annoying. Well, it is. It can be funny. Every time you move, the whole fucking thing moves. It was really cool to trip out on mushrooms. But I brought that up. So the parties. So after that girl, but that's how so now all of a sudden I'm in this fucking email list of these underground parties, which got bigger and better. So I'd seen some cool shit. So now we're 2017. I'm walking up Fifth Avenue. Lived in New York, done some shit. Seen some people, closed some business. Some powerful people, some other shit. Not celebrities, but on the outskirts of celebridom. You know, one of my clients worked on Yeezus. That's my claim to fame. But who else? This model was beautiful. She was killing it. She was a professional model. Not Victoria's Secret, but right under that. Beautiful. We smoked out. That door was open for a minute, and then I fucked that up. But it's just people come into your life that sometimes, like now, I think I could vibe with her. But back then I was too insecure. That's why I work on my insecurities. Because I think of the boss bitches who've crossed my path, and I'm like the dancer crossed my path at a point which I knew how to approach a girl like that. But just a year or two ago, I wouldn't have been able to. Because her energy, she's in control of that shit. And that's what, yeah, sometimes in my life, I'm like, man, like people come in my life, I'm like, I try a little bit, but I'm like, that's just out of my league. And it's okay. Eventually, you could develop better and better ways to approach. Like with Dancer Girl, like we knew exactly how to approach each other. Well, no, she just runs shit, but I knew how to. I still do, but I do enough to not bug her, cause a girl like that, you can get them without money, but they deserve. I don't know. That's what this night was all about. So we go to this party, penthouse place, and also I need to chill the fuck out too. I might not I might be fooling myself and others to act like I could commit to things that I can't commit to. So we go to this party, and this guy has a very nice apartment. On the fucking elevator ride up, we meet one of his neighbors who's like, "Are you going to so and so's apartment?" Yeah, he's a cool dude, and he gives us that smile of an older man in his fucking, he's like 40s, 50s, but you have to be seven-figure income to live in this building. So he's like, "Oh, I know his parties." And it's like, "Oh, okay, so fucking, we are going to the world of lecherous men," and there's a really cool group. There's fucking Latin Americans there. Addie's boyfriend, some fucking old heads, big dudes. He does martial arts. Some really cool grounding, older male presence, all the way up to like 60s, 70s, physically capable, fucking big tough dudes, and then some beautiful women. And the owner of the apartment comes by. He has a couple girls on his arm. He's that type of dude. Invited a couple friends over. Beautiful blonde, striking blonde. She could have been a model probably. That was on his arm, and then there's this other Puerto Rican girl who comes, and she's around my age, and we can tell there's a vibe. I didn't understand until later people are doing blow. I was on my, like, when I'm doing like the mushroom kick, and like I'm not really, those drugs I'm suspicious about, so only around certain company, but or to check people. If I think someone has a vice, I'll do the vice with them, and I'll watch them, and I'll see. There's this guy in Puerto Rico who was claiming that he was on the straight and narrow, and I did some with him, and I watched him, and just how he did it, I was like, no, this dude is. You could tell when it's just something, and then when it's something. Just watch how someone drinks. Watch how an alcoholic drinks. Watch how someone inhales a cigarette. Watch how someone smokes weed. You can tell if it's a voluntary action or if it's like they're breathing. Like if like this guy fucking, we're in a group of people and we're all partying and we pulled out instruments and pots and pans. This is in Puerto Rico. And blah, 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 and beers. And I'd buy like beers and cigarettes. And I say, hey, someone get a bag. Let's get this all night. But when we're doing it, one of the reasons I did that is I wanted to check if this dude's head was right. And fucking, we're all like, lines, blah, 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 blah. But you know that person who, like, if you've done cocaine in groups of people, goes to the back room, who's a little bit more into it than the other people, who fucking, the people who keep the bags on them. And then they're like, you feel like the excuse to hang out is just for them to do blow and not the other way around. That to do blow is just, this is my last night here, let's fucking like do a big one about it. And then when it comes around to him and then like he does it, it's definitely different than how everyone else did it. Just a little thing. Shaz's intuitive nature. There's this guy, I was in a hostel in between apartments, and he said he wanted to get into real estate, and he was from Dubai, the Arab Emirates or something. He talked a big game. He wasn't doing shit in New York at that time, but he had a big personality, and I was like, well, fuck, maybe this guy knows someone. All it takes is one of those guys to know a couple millionaires, and all of a sudden you have 500,000 in your pocket. You get paid 3% on deals in New York, and apartments there is a decent inventory, 10 to 50 million. So 10 million, 3%, do the math. 3% off a million is 30,000. 3% off of 10 million is 300,000. You do 10, 20 million in business. And so if you find a couple fucking people from a certain part of the world who wants to put a certain amount of money into New York real estate, and you make a couple connections, I knew a girl like that. She was making at least 300,000 a year. but it's because she got connected to an investor who consistently buys property in New York. Every single year, he's buying multiple properties because that's a part of his portfolio. And so she and her team is his go-to in order to find those properties. As long as she treats him right and does what he's supposed to. If you develop a relationship where you have a guy buying multiple properties in Manhattan or New York, the general area, then that could be your whole career right there, just servicing that account. That's the beauty of the New York real estate market. So I didn't know everything. I still don't, and I'm letting that business go. But back then, growing up, I was like, let me check if this guy's full of shit. So I went, we were talking in the hostel. I was staying there for I stayed there for a month. It was really interesting. A lot of random people went in and out. It was the McKibben Lofts. The McKibben Lofts, if you just Google it, in Brooklyn, they had, the FBI raided it because some of the members of the Anonymous were there. They've had, it's just a place of intrigue, and it's like fucking the Beirut of fucking New York. There's a lot of in and out energy, a lot of French people, a lot of internationals. If I was a spy, I'd be staying at McKibben Lofts. I said that when I was there. I was like, this place is fucking nuts. I dropped acid on a Monday there with some random people. I was like, hey, who wants to drop acid? But yeah, so me and this dude, he's talking like, oh, dude, if you can get me in real estate, I could fucking do some shit. I know some people back home, and blah, blah. I got connections. My family has connections. I'm like, let's talk about it. So one night I told him we were going to talk about it. So I went and got a big old 18-pack of beer, or even more than that. I got enough to get us both proper shit-faced. Just talk to him. Talk to him until he ran his mouth too much. And then by the end of the conversation, I was like, this person does not. It's like, I'll get shit-faced, but I know who I am. So if you know who you are, sober, drunk, whatever, you know who you are. But that dude, by the end of the conversation, he had a family he wasn't taking care of. He had kids. He had this and that. It was like, you don't even have your life together, dude. You know, how are you going to you don't have your house in order. You can't do shit. What I've learned in life and business is you got to start with a solid foundation on upwards. I really detest people who talk, no action. I have noticed in my life, just observing my folks and growing outwards, is that you really slow but steadily on a foundation of character. I wasn't that rude to him, but I was just like, you know what, man, I think you need to concentrate on your personal stuff first before you try to get into it. Real estate requires your complete focus. When I was making my money, I was dialed in. You have to be dialed in. There's too many moving parts. If you fuck shit up, you could really fuck shit up. You're dealing with a lot of people's money, and I wasn't even getting into sales yet. Just in rentals. At least once a month I wanted to quit the business. At least once a month, consistently for years. Some shit happens where I'm like, fuck this. It teaches you how to persevere. And then you stop and you're like, but I thought about running away a lot of times. And you're just like, I'll get through this. Another person's threatening to sue me. Another this, another that. You thought the money was in your hands. The money was in your bank account. You have to give back $3,000. Someone takes $1,000 out of my bank account because they cash a check that they say they lost. Me being a nice guy, refund them a second time. And then they go and cash the first check too. I'm like, what? Why would you do that? Because I don't feel it was right that you made a commission off the apartment because I didn't get it. That has nothing to do with you, dude. I rented it to someone else. You feel like you deserve to steal $1,000 from me? Some little douchebag who worked for the Spanish embassy. You just look at people and you're like, what? How can you even live with yourself? You just literally stole $1,000 from me. I really felt like going down to the embassy and just fucking going off on his boss and shit, just burning the whole place down. And I was like, just walk away, Shaz, just walk away. This shit is not worth it. But also, when you forgive people, you have to actually forgive them. You make that decision in your mind, it's done, and it's done. Because otherwise, what was the point of forgiving them? I said some not nasty shit. I was just like, dude, you're a piece of shit. And that's it. Whatever. And then you recognize, you take the experience. That was $1,000 lesson. It's worth it. Because these lessons, hopefully you don't have to learn them again. You learn to make judgment calls based off of character. Don't take business like that when people give me the even hint. So anyways, so this Shaz is in this apartment. And I'm fucking flirting with the Puerto Rican girl. And then I came there with a dancer. But I'm noticing this is a good woman. You have to give her attention, not because she's insecure or needy, but because if you have a spirit, you respect it. So I was straying, and I did. I told her this afterwards. I was like, look, I might have been flirting with that Puerto Rican girl, and we were playing music, and she was giving me a lot of attention. First of all, I didn't know she was coked off her ass. I didn't realize that this guy who owned the apartment was like that dude. I thought he was somewhat more charismatic, but this was just a money cocaine dude, which you run across in New York. or like his whole social circle are girls that like this girl, the Puerto Rican girl, he met her dog walking on the street. You want to come to my party? I might have some fucking candy, blah blah blah. It's like he invites people into a social circle based off of that. These guys are like, I never. It's like if that's all you got, then you're fucking worthless to me as a human being. It's like you have to, because you haven't developed social skills. You've only developed power structures. So yeah, so she got a little jealous. I could feel that. So I came back to her at one part of the party and I kissed her in front of like not like in front of everyone, but like openly. I like went and I like leaned in and gave her a kiss on the cheek and I gave her a little bit of attention, just some public display of affection to be like, if like other people, if we were all talking and mixing and stuff, there's only maybe like 20, 30 people there. It's like obviously we came in together, we're being close to each other. And then I went back to doing my Shaz thing and playing music, and the owner of the apartment was like, "You gonna play music for us?" I was like, "I'm gonna play music with you. If you want to sit down and grab one of these instruments." But no, I didn't come here as the help. I'm sorry, man. I was very sensitive to his energy. He was like, "What do you do?" I was like, "I'm just living, man. I used to have a real estate company. I used to do a lot of stuff, but right now I'm just living. This year I'm just living." He didn't understand that. That broke his brain. He was like, "No, I mean, but what do you do for money?" I was like, "Nothing." And it's fucking clearing up my mind. It's crazy, right? Just looked at him. He was just like, because there's no way for him to put himself above me. Because if we talk about money, he has a beautiful apartment. He's used to all of his relationships being based on power. So that way he can put himself above people. I recognize that spirit. So the conversation never got to something he could put himself above me. I'm just a free floating spirit. And now I don't make sense to him. Trust fund kid or what are that? Money doesn't matter to this guy? He doesn't have a job? No, dude, I'm not paying any of my bills either. Not paying my rent either. I told him. I was like, I just stopped paying all my bills this year, and all of a sudden my head's clearing up. It's really fucking crazy. They can't even get me out of my apartment either. It's nuts, right? And I have more love in my life and a clearer head than ever before. You should try it. He just walked away like I was on fire. And then I'm looking around his apartment. A lot of modern art. Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, Prince. I see this letter encased in glass. Not handwritten, typed, but signed by Bill Clinton, because he donates. He's a big time donor to the Democratic Party. I'm on mushrooms, so I'm like, the fucking ugly hierarchical institutions of our whole society in this one apartment. This is the fucking left progressive. This is the fucking Harvey Weinsteins of the Democratic Party. The guys who are fucking. They use the virtue of the party in order to get laid. Yeah, support progressive causes, and that's why he was friends with Addie's boyfriend, because this is a cool younger guy, and he's into animals, and then this guy's into animals, and they both do shit. And like, I think this guy opened a coffee shop. I couldn't figure out where his money came from. I'm pretty sure it's inherited, but the guy displayed no character to me. I just did not like his spirit. And then the dancer girl, apparently, I neglected her enough that she went in the back room with him, and I guess people were doing lines and shit, and I just saw like some like interactions out of the corner of my eye that kind of pissed me off. And I was just like, I have to get the fuck out of here. I know myself, and I'm gonna get heated, because it was just like, and that's where me and the dancer girl, we go through our cycles. But it's probably better that, at least now in her life, she has to learn some shit about what type of woman she wants to be and what type of life she wants to have. And I've learned not to try to. You could try to show people as much as you can, but you have to let them learn their own lessons. That's like that Zen Buddhist philosophy. I won't stand in the way of someone suffering. So I feel like some of the things she does aren't for her own best interest, but there's certain things I'm trying not to repeat myself right now in life. And so you advise people best you can, and then you just step back, and if they're introspective and they're figuring it out, that's great. That's why I'm surprised that this young girl in New York surprises me with her introspection. But if not, you just have to make your peace. Like, she found heroin or fentanyl in this batch, but she could still overdose on the next batch. She could buy some oxys that are pressed with fentanyl. They're selling oxys as coming from pharmaceutical companies when they're actually just pressed with fentanyl and other shit. So there's a lot of, she's still playing a dangerous game. So this dancer girl I saw sucked into the orbit of this guy's penthouse apartment and his whole like, and since it wasn't just the drugs and the women on his arm in the apartment and the fucking neighbor and the other signs, it was the letter from Bill Clinton that he was a fucking big donor in the Democratic Party. That's what, honestly, like more than anything else, the the political shit was like, oh, fucking a party hack, a fucking goes to these functions and like they get glad handed, and there's this speech where Michelle Obama said Harvey Weinstein's such a good guy. It's like, yeah, because they don't judge their circle based off of values. The Obamas let their daughter intern at that guy's company. Their blind spots, you could drive a semi truck through it, and these are the leaders of our society, because they don't look at another human being based off of value. It's all power. It's and if you the deeper you get into the party apparatus, and then you wonder why people like Angelina Jolie goes into an opium den when she's young. They're searching for truth, and they're also trying to heal because she grew up with fucking famous parents, grew up around Hollywood and the elite, and that's right enmeshed with the political fucking hierarchies. There's a lot of ugliness, a lot of inhuman values, the fucking predatory nature about children and all that stuff. These are symptoms of the problem. And then I saw it suck in the dancer girl, and I was just like, I was sensitive enough coming down off the mushrooms that I was like, I'm gonna fuck this dude up in his fancy ass apartment if I don't get out of here. I'm gonna because this whole year I've been increasing my sensitivity to understand my emotions. So this is I'm trying to envision it like my emotions had a hold in my hand, which I can use to empower myself. I don't want to be cold, and I want to get more in touch with my emotional side. But that space between myself and my hand is to allow myself to not just react. So I felt it growing, and it's like, it's really great, because if there's like a fight or flight, or if there's an argument, I want to imbue it with my full emotional force, but as necessary. And it was growing a lot. I was like, I need to get the fuck out of here, because this fireball is gonna escape me. I grabbed my shit. I told my friend, I was like, tell a homegirl that I'll meet you guys at home. Me and Addie and Dancer were all living together in the village. I was like, I'll meet you guys at home. I have to grab my shit. And I apologized to Addie's boyfriend. I was like, I have to go. I don't mean to be rude, but... And I bounced. She was like, why'd you leave so fast, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I know my limit. And that's what it is. So you want to talk about drugs, you want to talk about other stuff. But love will drive you to... I get rowdy when I drink. Probably drinking is like, I'll get slap happy and I'll roll around with people. I've gone into plenty of wrestling matches, fucking playful fights on alcohol. If you've been in the military, then you've drunk with the boys probably, and you've all fucking started fucking each other up or doing stupid testosterone fuel shit, the tough guy shit. But I don't really love is when you do that shit that you start to feel that your emotions are about to escape you and you're going to do something that you regret, and then you just have to fucking take a time out. That's the best I can describe it. And yeah, Angelina's lived a life, and I respect the fuck out of her wisdom. And I think Brad, but this isn't about Brad Pitt. This is about, that's why I put her in there. And then that song was referred to me from a friend from high school. So when I heard that song, I was like, I like this song. That, and then she liked Angelina. And then so people give her shit. People give Angelina shit for being a boss ass bitch, but she, whatever her blind spots are, I've always seen a lot more wisdom. And if you could be a strong woman in this life, and you can maintain control over your brand and your narrative and your life and your money, like it seems like she's doing, and her family. If you look into the divorce, which is none of our business anyways, but I don't smell any bullshit. I wish her nothing but the best and positivity. Yeah. And anytime you do think that you see a blind spot in someone else, you'll know your heart's in the right place when you only have compassion. And that's what I feel also for the dancer girl. Whatever blind spots I saw that night, how I don't like how she's so subservient to power. Recently, what I told her, I gave her some Pablo Neruda poems. 20 canciones de amor or whatever, 20 love poems. I was like, you just need to grow your heart a little bit. I think you're a little bit too cynical. That's my biggest complaint about any girl that we're not working out. Usually it's that I don't want to lose my sensitivity, and I think you're a little too cynical. And they think, oh, you just need to grow up, Shaz, or you just need to stop being so romantic. I don't know, it's carried me this far through life. It got me you. I said, no, I like the way I look at the world. I like the enemies I make. That guy's a piece of shit, that fucking Penthouse Fifth Avenue guy. I told Eddie's boyfriend, I was like, don't bring me around that guy. That's not my type of people. That's my circle. I have a threshold. I would sniff out a Weinstein pretty quick. That shit would not fly in Shaz's circle. And I wonder, the people who tolerate that shit, you put your the weakest among your circle at danger. Your women, your elderly, your... Trump is like a guy like that. He'll go after your women, your elderly, your workers who can't defend themselves. So fuck the assholes. Be a good person. Purify your circle. Be honest. Have integrity. Associate with the same. Shaz out.